Just a little bit here. If you are watching this live, then you know I had to cut the feed. If you're watching this later, well, that was interesting, and especially with the song, what's going on? Now, it was an interesting thing that just happened. And again, remember I was saying like absurdities, but not like off the wall stuff, but definitely just irregular things, like expect the unexpected. And it's happening for both sides, but the messages from DMs are, it's partly like a FYI sort of message. And then it's also to communicate, like, this is happening with them. Like, there are, so what just happened with me was somebody, a stranger, in a white van, like, pulled up, and it's funny, I'm at the whatever the brand or the make was Pacifica, which was very interesting. Like that makes me think of the Pacific Ocean, which is the coast that I'm on, the West Coast. Okay, interesting. And white is a crown chakra color, so like, or it could be like blankness. Now this gal just got out and asked if she could fill up a bucket with water. And you know what's interesting is like I thought about, do I want a bunch of details? And I just thought, no, and like you just want a bucket of water. Just a bucket of water. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. And then I could tell her energy was strange. And then she went, like, and I said, all right, there's a hose in the front here. And she went and grabbed a one of those big water cooler jugs. And I said, that's okay. You can come over here. I'll put water in it. And I asked her because I thought, like, by wanting a bucket of water, it was because her car was, like, overheating or something. Her van was overheating, and maybe that's why she wanted the water, but it didn't make sense with the water jug. And then I remembered there was a time in the old house that my DM and I had to go through and there to an artesian well and get water that way for the house. Like, we didn't have anything on for a long time. And that was kind of the image that passed into my mind about, like, I bet that's what this is. And she didn't say much about details, just very simply that she's been trying to ask a bunch of people. And I thought, like, there was a small trigger in there of, like, why aren't you telling people what it is that you want? Or what is it that you're really doing with this? Or what are you hiding? And then the other side of me just went, wait a minute, why am I being like that? And then it reminded me of the song. And especially the part, oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for a revolution. And then I was like, oh yeah, there's me again. Like, what am I worried about? For one thing, it's very unlikely this person's going to come back and ask for this twice. And for two, I don't need to be a judge of anyone's situation, right? And also, I mean, who knows what that might have changed or what that might have saved. Not everybody that you walk up around their house is going to be nice. Not every situation is going to be good. And also, I love the way that spirit brings different things in. Like, look at that. That was completely what I was literally just talking about, expect the unexpected in the first part of this video. And also, this is going to be a bit of a shorter one because I'm low on battery. Now, what I'm thinking about though is like, okay, water jug, a feminine figure, man, like, and it's white, so it almost reminds me of which knight rides the white horse in the deck? I want to say it's the Knight of Swords. Yes, Knight of Swords, and there's something to do with cups though, because it's almost like Knight of Cups. They're like coming to fill up a big jug. Like if I think about that and I translate that to what I know is going on collectively, that's like if you took the cup that the characters were holding and made it like a giant one. And also, like, think about it too. What's the lesson in the cups? The cups is to learn to refill your own cup. Now, that was a way of doing that, but that's the way they say don't do it. Don't take from other people's cups to fill your own. Not because it's necessarily bad, but because it's not sustainable. Like, if you think about it, like, continuing, and because I literally have been in that situation, the more that you get caught up in using other systems, other people's stuff to refill your cup, you find it's not sustainable and you have to fill up more and more and more and more. Whereas if you just let yourself go, almost go a little bit thirsty, a little bit longer. It's just that self-discipline, save a few more pennies, do walk a little longer, clean up a little space, change your thoughts a little more. Like, it's like exercising. You want to go just a little past where you're comfortable. You don't want to push it too far. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to go a little bit past where you're comfortable. And we get your heart a little bit more going than you were comfortable with, right? And so it kind of reminds me of that. Like, and it feels like with this song, What's Going On by Four Non Blondes, a wonderful, wonderful song. And like it really makes me think about that is like even when I paused the video last, it was like, what's going on? Like usually when I'm doing a video, I don't know, spirit makes sure that things don't happen in there. And and I've talked to the human elements of that around here. So like they know how to recognize if I'm doing a video. And most other people would probably have walked up, seen I was busy and walked away. So this is almost one of those, what is going on? Like if that was allowed to happen within the sacred space that I set when I do my videos, that means it's important. And it feels like that's kind of what DMs are saying. Like there are things happening in what they would consider sacred space. They may not call it sacred space, but it is. Like I think a fair amount of it is their dream space actually, because they don't like some of them know how to walk within dream space, but like they don't control that. And so like they could spend all day very steadily King of Cupsing, controlling their thoughts and what they think about and stuff, no matter what's going on, or at least they think they can. But they can't control their dreams. And so these dreams, like some, mm. they're real enough that they feel realistic. They're like dreams, but they're still absurd enough that at some point, like the jig is up, sort of like the thing is, oh, it's a dream. I feel like a fair amount of these masculines too, maybe their sleep schedules may be really off or irregular or horrible, and because of that, two things are happening. One, like some amount of depression has caught up with them, and so the dreams that they have that they can't control, and they can't control how their body reacts or how their true heart comes out in their dreams. And so like this dream space is almost more pleasant to them than a lot of the 3D reality going on for them. And so they may be sleeping in a little bit longer, or for some of them even like it may be that they talked in their sleep and gave away some sort of information or feelings or something like that, so they may actually be going the opposite way and trying not to sleep very much because they can't control what comes out, and they're afraid because if they think about their daytime thoughts already and then imagine the dreams coming out, like anything could be said. And that's kind of the sort of like absurdity that's one of the forms of absurdities. Like they're recognizing it now. Like like if they maybe blamed you or thought somebody did some spell work on them or something, like spirit's making it very obvious that it's not you, it's not the counterpart, it's not even any third parties, it's not like they're manifesting it in themselves because they miss fun. Like a lot of these DMs, it feels like they have pretty good. Gosh, it feels like they're stuttering about something because I don't usually stutter like that. It feels like they miss fun. They miss their own kind of fun. They miss fun with you, or they want to see what kind of fun they could have with you if they've just met you, or even if they've known you a while. Like you've probably shown enough growth that they're seeing that they could have new kinds of fun with you, and now they're curious about that. And it's getting their minds going, and especially if you're like out there, people can see you, you're going places, you're doing things, and they've got some shadow work to do with jealousy and possessiveness and envy and stuff, then like that, it's really kicking up like not a storm, but like a whirlpool of emotions. And so they're kind of in that part of the song too. It's like, what's going on? Like a lot of them probably assumed that with the passing of time that feelings would go away, or that things would change enough that it wouldn't they'd just be busy. Like a lot of them wanted to just be done with the idea of love in general. Like that's, if it was, if love, if they let themselves believe they were worthy of having love and that it was safe to have, they'd be with you. Though, along many places along the way, even by their own actions that they feel would be too. It feels like Spirit's kind of working with like some cynical, bratty kind of DMs in this one. Like almost as like, oh yeah, you want to see how this works? Almost like, I mean, because there's no assertion. So these DMs, they prayed for something like this, but they probably did it unintentionally. It's hard to put it into words. I'm gonna pull a couple of energy oracle cards, and which I pre-shuffled before we had that interesting visitor. Maybe that's part of the message, that there is a visitor, that's like, or that somebody, oh wow, that just clicked in. There's somebody that has tried to make themselves more of a permanent figure, but they've just been a visitor, like almost like a house guest, but not quite. Like, and it's somebody, it's third party end on your DM's end, and it feels like somehow, like I feel how I know how it's relevant to me, but it doesn't feel like it feels like that is relevant for me, but it feels like it wouldn't translate to what anybody else is thinking of. And also, I don't want to. My guides are saying don't share that manifesting tactic yet, so we'll leave something to be desired. Though it's very good if you start thinking of, well, I mean, see, no, it's not time. I'll have to teach that in another video. What I'm gonna say is that they're communicating. There's something to do with a visitor who has given the appearance of staying right, almost like a visitor who has outworn their welcome, sort of thing. The image I'm getting in my mind is, think about how I felt alerted and triggered about that person that just came in. Like, DMs aren't quite in a place of being able to alchemize things yet. I mean, not like they can't do it at all. Just like if they get triggered by something like that, they're still somewhat more likely to react rather than respond, and to take a little longer to work that out. So there's probably something that they've been trying to work out like that. Like maybe somebody asked them for help, and they too were like, okay, I'll help you. And they noticed there was some weirdness, but they didn't think it would last that long or happen again, or something. Like they felt like it would, yeah, it's just some good karma, it's okay kind of thing, but it didn't turn out that way. It wasn't like this one where they just like drove away and stayed away, which even we'll see. I mean, if that person comes back, I'm gonna have some interesting fun and conversating with them. Though it feels like they're not. It feels like it was, interestingly enough, just for you and just for me, just a message that came through right at that time. Yeah, like you can't make that stuff up. And it feels like maybe like some of these DMs are going to communicate soon some kind of story that's like, it's like that, you can't make it up. Like and not that it'll resolve everything or absolve everything or anything like that, but it will make a lot more sense to you in a, not just in a 3D sense. Like it feels like actually they're getting more connected with their 5D selves. They're getting ready. They're seeing how to communicate it. And so they're going to attempt to try to communicate it more in your language, so to speak. Like if you've been doing your manifesting and you just talk to them like you talk to everybody else, and you talk about this stuff regularly like you should be, then, like, I don't know, it kind of feels like they might try to, it's like someone trying to learn your love language, sort of thing. And so in that sort of a fashion, they may try to communicate this, what's felt to them like it was too tall of a tale. Like they felt like if they told you this story, you'd never believe them, or you'd just be like, who cares? Like it's, and they very well were probably right at the time. Like if there's been a long time with communication challenges, they probably, both for their own self-worth and for your own like reflection of it, if you've been the type to be like, well, fine, if you're not going to give me attention, I'm going to go play with somebody else, or I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to be mean to you, or I'm going to shut you out. Like, kind of doing what they do, sort of thing. Like, if you've been like that, then yes, you probably would not have believed them or wouldn't have cared so much. And it's okay. Like, if that's where you're coming from, just own it and release it. Like, I've been there. And like now, though, they're recognizing that you're in a different place. Like you're not where they left you. Like a lot of them are kind of even just barely waking up about what has gone on during, we had all the Pluto and Neptune and stuff going on during the big Q. Like, yeah, I mean, come on. Like a lot of them are just waking up. That's part of the song, I think. What's going on is like, it's like if you, it reminds me of a song that I wrote one time that my dam really likes. If you woke up and like the world had already ended, like you were fine, you could breathe, and there was nothing radioactive, but you woke up and just the world was ended, and although all whatever wars had already stopped, whatever zombies were running had already stopped, it's just like, and you're like, what? Like what's going on right now? Did I really just sleep in and like miss the end of the world? Would I sleep for like 40 years or something? Like that sort of thing. And what's really funny is earlier I had a song come into my mind shortly that I hadn't thought about in ages, and it's from Sleeping Beauty. And I don't remember the name of it, and I only know part of it, but it was like, I know you. I've danced with you once upon a dream. I know you. And that's all I know. That's all I know of it. But that part of it feels like what's relevant. And wasn't I just talking about the dreams aspect, right? And it feels like they're starting to feel kind of like Sleeping Beauty in a way. But like Spirit gave them the kiss that woke them up, you know what I mean? And I think they're starting to realize like who pricked their finger, so to speak, like who put them in that position in the first place, and they're dancing with you in their dreams, and they're probably hearing a lot of music that they're starting to wonder, like Spirit, like I said, it's kind of a weird sort of pranky sort of energy, like it's like Embrace the Absurd energy that came in last year, and it's one of those like, oh yeah, it's a nice. And Dan brought you flowers, right? Yeah, like it's. Oh, it's so funny. It's like it's the. Oh man, there was a part in the early part of the song. What's going on? It's like something about hope. Pray every single day for a ray of hope. No, it was something of hope. I'd suggest looking it up. But it's like reservoir of hope is kind of what's coming into my mind. I don't think that's the word, but like a reservoir of hope. Like they're realizing that they still have like this inner reservoir that's always connected to the universe, and that like that's been the thing that's been missing. It feels like, oh man, ha, I just, what I just realized. I'm not going to share what the actual thing is, but I now I know, like my guides are like, oh, that thing that you did, like that was Spirit, like kind of like pranking them with absurdities, and that's happening from all sorts of places. So like it might be that like they when they drive around, they get in the car and they keep hearing a song that is very specific to you. It's not specific to anybody else. Either they know that you really, really loved it, or they really always thought about you with the song. And then, like, they'll get out of the car and go into, like, a gas station, and the song will be on in there, which is like, whatever, that happens. Or maybe they're on the same station, or maybe they have the same playlist, whatever. But then they go, like, to department store or Walmart or Winco or whatever, and they go in there and it's playing in there again. And then, like, say they leave there and they're on their way back and they stop to use a bathroom at a convenience store and it's on again. Like, it'll be very obvious things, like, kind of like that. Not even like, do we need to hit you over the head with it, but more like like Spirit's like, oh, I got all day. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like, I mean, oh man, it's almost like Spirit's been saying to these guys, like, you really should listen to your DF. You really should. Like the messages are easier. It'd be easier if you do it this way. But they've been a lot of them have been very immature. And so it's like, oh, oh, I see. The universe, the universe is almost like, oh, I see. I see what you want. You want a life that feels like playful, and you want to be able to just shirk whatever thing that you want. Like, okay, well, we can do that, but we're gonna make it really obvious. And you know what's funny? It's not just spirit. It feels like their ancestors. Like, because this feels like known energy, but they're like doing it in ways that are very specific. I wish I had the words to really describe it well. This is probably just gonna have to be something that you're gonna have to think about in your own life and see. Like, if you don't feel like this is going on right now, either it already happened or it will happen, and you'll catch it in the right moment. But I'm gonna pull some of these energy oracle cards and see what in the world is going on with these DMs and this absurd energy. Okay, wow, we got a bunch of cards. You know what? I'm going to take them all. Let's see what we got. We got the Angel of Strength, card number 50. Anxiety, card number 18. Angel of Love, 49. Interesting. Caring Connection in reverse, 41. Looks like that. And the Sun, number 1. You know what's funny? I know a lot of people think of that, here comes the sun. But what I heard instead was like I think it was Smash Mouth that did it. It's like, and if you walking in the sun. No, that's not how it goes. Oh man, I hope somebody knows what song that I'm talking about. If you know what song I'm talking about, that sync was for you. If you don't worry about it. It'll be later. Um, so already we got 5 cards that popped out on their own. That's Hierophant's number, and we also have card number 50, Angel of Strength, which tells me that Hierophant energy is strong in there. So like societal norms versus rebellions of fun, and like institutional things, which is in that song, in institution, and all sorts, and contracts and things like that. Now, considering the order these came out with, it feels like DMs are, I feel like these DMs are recognizing that the life they manifested right now, it does make them feel strong in a way. Like they feel like maybe they have their tower fortress or something, or like maybe they have a house, or maybe they have like 3D things, and they feel like they're stubborn enough, they're tough enough, like they can keep people out, and da, 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 and they can carry people, and they can do what they want. Like they've probably been going through that sort of a karmic learning experience. I do what I want, and but now they're recognizing for that, like, okay, this is partially, it reminds me of the Strength card in the Rider Waite, and which is for me like kind of a Beauty in the Beast card, but it feels like they're seeing their DFs as like, it feels like 2 things. One, it feels like they've seen their DFs be this lion, be the beast, right? And they all have always thought of their DFs as the angel, as the beauty. Though it feels like they are almost seeing, oh man, Divine Maverick said something about it. Like, don't you see this like room full of ancestors and allies behind me? Like, who do you think you are to mess with me, kind of thing? It kind of feels like that sort of energy. But it feels like what they're seeing is they're like, yeah, like I got strength in 3D-ish, like, but it's like somebody who hires breathing bodies over people that are actually either like enthusiastic about the job or that are skilled at the job. Like just, getting breathing bodies, you could put anybody in there, but it really makes a difference when you have somebody that wants to be there and somebody who's good at being there, right? And it feels like they're seeing that, like the difference between people who are there because they require your strength versus those who are there because they want to be around you because they don't have to carry you. And also, it feels like they're seeing, like almost like they're seeing this lion as like community and people who want to be around you because you don't need anything and you have your own strength. And it feels like what they're saying too in part of the song lyrics and this card is like thinking of you is bringing them strength, even if they're not communicating at all, or they're communicating funny or any of that. Like like I'm looking at kind of that halo like thing going on for her there. Like it feels like these dreams that they're having and these like absurd experiences are filling them with a strange sort of strength that they weren't expecting. And I'm seeing, interesting, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like there's a spiral in the fur of the lion. And spirals are definitely synchronistic right now. Not to mention the whole spiral cycle thing. Now, to add anxiety. Like those two cards came out first together. Now that's moon card energy, which is also confusion and anxiety, but it's also about faith. Like when we're in the energy of anxiety, we are in the energy of desperation. We either feel like we're going to lose something that we feel like we need, or we're, well, I was going to say it's like the other side of my mind was like, or we're afraid we're going to gain something that we don't want. I don't know if that makes sense, but like it's like an indecision place. And it's, it fits in. I mean, I know this is a feminine in here, but she's sitting in bed, and it feels a fair amount like that energy of like some of them are trying not to sleep because some of them may not connect with you at all during the day, or they may be very good at giving like off a I don't care, or I don't want nothing to do with this, or we're just friends kind of thing, but they can't control it in their sleep, so they're awake a lot. And then the rest of them, it feels like what they're saying is that that's kind of the shadow work that they're working on right now, that connection to the moon card. It feels like they're recognizing that they have self-sabotaged a lot of things, mostly through anxiety and not having faith in themselves, not having faith in others, and they're working on that. And you can help them by already picturing them there and not being judgmental of any space that they've spent in anxiety. All right, so then card 49, the Angel of Love, which it feels like that just, I mean, that fits so very much in with the Angel of Strength. For me, this is kind of an obvious answer that, like, you hold their heart. And she also looks kind of like she's not necessarily hurt, but I mean, she looks like somebody that you would want to be close to. You would want to ask her what's going on, but also not somebody you'd want to mess with, And she looks so, like, strong yet precious that it's like, I suppose for some people it might, like, I can't feel this way when I hurt someone, whether I like them or don't like them. I don't like myself when I do that. But it feels like these DMs and likely people around them, like, there might be specific people that they don't want to hurt, but in general, they don't really care about hurting anybody else or not. They'll often even hurt those that are very close to them or that they want to have around. And, but it feels like, how do I put it? Like, if you were to think about, like, there are some people, you hurt them, it really doesn't matter. You don't care about the fight with them, it doesn't make you feel a certain way. But when it's somebody like this, you feel awful. Like, it's like one of those, almost like, I don't know, like, I'm getting the image of like it's almost like hurting a child that like didn't do, and I mean, you should never hurt a child in general, but it's like the kid that really didn't do anything wrong. But like, imagine this as like, a feminine really didn't do anything wrong, and you hurt them, and there was no way to be able to blame shift or change anything, or like twist it. Like, you just can't. It almost feels like like this actual Angel of Love is coming in, and that's part of these absurdities. Like, it's revealing to them that a situation they've been in has not been a caring connection, and that they have not been a caring connection, and that you have been this Angel of Love. You have been the one with the strength and bringing them strength, and now they are anxious because they would really like a new beginning. They would really like a new beginning, but they see all of this behind here. So what Spirit is working on with them right now is this woman holding a coin. Deception in reverse, which is good because that means that it's secrets being known. And the man holding the coin. Rest and rejuvenation in reverse. The Angel of Balance in reverse. It feels like, okay, so what I'm seeing here is this. See that? The woman and the man holding a coin. And in between them is deceit in reverse. Now, deceit in reverse, it's it's funny because it, like, if the card was just like the honesty card, then it would just be about honesty existing in there. But for deceit to be in reverse in that place, it means that deceit in upright was going on. Now, that's possessiveness, that's greediness, that's lack of accountability, it's bad boundaries, it's sticky fingers, it's all that stuff. And so it feels like a pretty obvious message here. There's deception between them, but it is being not necessarily reversed, it's being unraveled so it can be seen. And it very much has to do with money. I mean, it's two people that were together for the money. Like, whether it was a relationship of convenience or trying to build some empire or something. And clearly, the woman holding the coin has been on top. And you know what else I'm noticing? So if you look at it this way, like, what's covering up the man holding a coin? Deceit, which means that whatever's been going on in 3D is probably being orchestrated by the woman holding a coin. And it's very likely that the man holding the coin is back there. And granted, like, he's not free from guilt from what he's done, though it's mostly been hiding behind those deceits. And probably, he's probably just realizing how much of it was deceit because we don't know, and sometimes we're blind to things because we're hurting about other stuff, or we might, when we're insecure, we have low self-esteem, we can get into all sorts of situations we would not otherwise get into. And it feels like it's that sort of thing. And especially even if I do it the other way, like if I move her over there, like, then what's behind the, I was going to say the Queen of Coins, what's behind the woman holding a coin? Deceit, right? What's in front of him? Deceit. What's behind her? Deceit, right? And it's deceit reversed, so it's like buried secrets coming about. And that could be some of the absurdities energy, because that's what I did ask about. Now we have rest and rejuvenation in reverse, which again, and then the angel of balance in reverse, which for me points back to more of these masculines channeling this message are in a place of like trying not to sleep, or they're feeling insomnia because of the anxiety of sleeping, which makes them even more anxious about daytime stuff. And some of them I'm feeling like that's where they just came from, and they're coming out now into a more like they're recognizing that they, let's see, what do we got here, the garden and the gate in reverse, and walking away in reverse. I'm gonna look at one more. Yeah, and the temple path. Okay, so like, all right, let's see here. It feels like what they're recognizing is that they have been on more of a spiritual path than they realized, and that they want to be on that path, that that's where they started. And oh